Hello, and welcome to another episode of Millennial Economics. Musk said this. Today we're going to talk a little bit about patience and progress and a deep dive into every single career that would be impossible. You should save for retirement or enjoy your money now. Take that number, multiply it by 12 to get your annual number. Okay, your monthly expenses multiplied by 12. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Millennial Economics. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for tuning in. We have a fun video for you today. So we are going to do an answering Reddit, and we're just going to dive right in. So the title to the post is, How Should I Save for a House? And the post reads, I make low six figures in a high cost of living area, and I want to save for a house in the area in the next 3 to 5 years. After rent and fixed expenses, including maxing my 401k with 50% match, I have about $3,500 a month left over. For a year or two, I was investing most of it, but I realized that I had the goal to buy a house, or probably condo, soon enough that the market might be too volatile, so I started using a savings account instead. This doesn't feel good, but I'm not sure the risk of putting money in the market is worth it for a 3 to 5 year goal. I-bonds have a $10,000 max, so not too helpful for the big picture. Okay. So let's get into this here. This is an exciting post. I love real estate and home buying. Ask my wife. I look at houses far too often, and I've bought a couple properties myself in my lifetime. So I thought I could give some good perspective on this. One thing I do want to mention, if you like this video and like this topic, if you like this channel and haven't subscribed yet, I would very much appreciate it. Number one, if you like the video, it would help me out with the YouTube algorithm, kind of getting this video out to more people, and the same for subscribing. If you like these videos and you find them helpful, I would love it if you subscribed as well. Okay, so my opinion on this, how should I save for a house? There are a couple options here. One of the options, or kind of, I guess, my line of thinking a little bit. So basically, let's take an assessment of kind of what the facts are, right? This person wants to buy a house in the next 3 to 5 years. They're in a high cost of living area. Okay, so the first thing that I'm thinking is, due to the volatility of the market recently, I don't think that stocks, in my opinion, if this was me, would be a great option, right? Because I run the risk of essentially throwing a lot of money in, right? If this person really does have a margin, kind of like we talk about, after all the expenses that this individual has, if they have a margin of $3,500 a month, which is healthy, very healthy, throwing money, that amount of money into the stock market at that rate, we run a high risk of at the end of that 3 to 5 years having less money than we put in. Right? The stock market's going down. We don't really know what the stock market's going to look like in a couple years. You know, if this individual said, hey, in the next 10 years, I want to buy a house, then maybe yes, we throw into the stock market. But if it was me, I probably wouldn't throw this money that I'm allocating specifically for a home purchase into the stock market due to volatility. All right. So, all right, what am I thinking outside of that? So, I just posted a video, the previous video. I would highly recommend you check it out because it was new information to me as of recently. I do think I-bonds is a good option here, right? I think that, that 10K max a year in the next 3 to 5 years, we're looking at possibly $50,000, and that doesn't include any interest accrued. If you watched that previous video, you know that as of right this second, which is October of 2022, the interest rate on an I-bond is 9.62%. That's going to reset here next month in November. We don't really know what that will be, but we're in a high inflationary period right now, and so I-bonds are going to have a higher payout. Okay, they're going to have a higher interest rate assigned to them, right? So I think I-bonds are great, right? So that takes care of maybe $50, $51, $52-ish thousand of what this individual would need for a down payment, right? Option number 2 would be a high yield savings account. Right, you're not going to get a great rate of return. You're going to lose some of that money due to inflation. Right, those dollars are going to be less powerful in 3 to 5 years if you stick it into a high yield savings account. But I do think it would be a good option. I do think now would be a great time to mention that Yada Savings, and I mentioned this in my previous video. But if you're interested in a high yield savings account with a company that kind of gamifies the act of saving, I guess I'll say, I think Yada is really cool. I personally use it myself. I only talk about things I personally use myself, and I've used Yada for well over a year now. Basically, for however much money you have invested, you get a certain amount of tickets into each week's drawing. Each ticket has 7 numbers on it that you can choose, or that's generated automatically. And basically, however many numbers you match that week, you get money. right? I've won as low as 40 cents. I've won as much as, I believe, $40. The prizes range from nothing really, all the way up to $10 million truly, and everything in between. Also through Yada, they have the ability to get I-bonds, right? To purchase I-bonds, and they do that for you through treasury.gov. And I have it written down here, through treasurydirect.gov. Okay, so I think that that could be a good option. If you're interested in that for a high yield savings account or for I-bonds, you can use the link in the description for Yada. When you sign up and use code Millennial, MILLENNIAL, you will get a certain amount of free tickets when you sign up for that week's drawing, and I get a little kickback as well. So I think that would be a good option, I-bonds and high yield savings account. If this individual did want to go the route of investing in kind of a mixed portfolio, I use Acorns. I really like Acorns. I've used it for over 6 years. They have pre-built portfolios, and in this case, maybe if it was me, I would choose something that's closer to the conservative, or maybe all the way on the conservative side, right? So there's not that high upside of maybe big returns on a riskier investment, but there certainly is less of a low side, right? But I think this person, yes, while they're trying to maximize how much money they're putting in the market and they're trying to make it turn into something larger, I think looking at the bigger picture, if it was me, and only sticking with safe investments, only sticking with the high yield savings account, maybe some bonds in there, that is the route that I would go, particularly in the environment that we find ourselves in now. I think that patience will reign to be the most important piece of this pie, right? I know that this person's wanting to make money turn into something in a relatively quick way, but sometimes just saving cash and building a plan around that isn't a bad option as well. So I hope that you found this valuable. I hope that you can apply some of it to your saving for a home in the next 3 to 5 years, and we will talk